Welcome back to my diary of a Christian entrepreneur. How are you guys? My name is Shireen and welcome. Today I wanted to talk about rejection. Rejection happens, and I think it's happened to all of us at some point. We can all say that we have been rejected at something. Whether that is in business or in relationships or whatever it is, everyone has been rejected in some way. And I think as human beings, it is our nature to want to be accepted, right? We want community. We want to feel loved. We want to feel like we belong. That's the good word. We want to feel like we belong somewhere. Don't ever doubt that. Like, belonging is a strong emotion. Like, we want to feel like we belong to something bigger than ourselves, right? And that's why clubs are so important, groups are so important. Even online, Facebook groups are blowing up, right? Because people want to know that they matter somewhere, that they belong to something. Even something like Sam's Club, when you feel great about getting stuff like that, being a part of a community, right? Our church groups, just hanging out with a group of friends, all of that. We want to feel connected and accepted and like we belong, right? We all do. We've all been there. The problem, however, is just when we place such high regard on people accepting us that it affects our self-worth or how we think about ourselves, the value we place on our lives, right? That's when it's a problem. I don't believe that just wanting to feel like you belong and accepted is a bad thing, because we are human, and I feel like we all have that basic want, yearning to have, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but the issue is when we place that above everything else. Like, if we don't get that from people, keyword people, when we don't get that from people, we feel like there's something wrong with us. We make that to mean something that it doesn't, and that is the issue about rejection. So it is important for us to realize that rejection is always going to happen, right? If you like someone, right, and they tell you, well, I'm just not interested in you in that way, right? How do you feel about that? Yes, it's rejection. It may hurt you a little bit, right? That's natural. I don't want people to assume that that's not a natural feeling. You are going to get rejected, and it may hurt you, right? But it does something else if you make it mean something else, right? If you make it mean that, oh my gosh, I'm not attractive, oh my goodness, no one finds me attractive, or people will never like me, or I'm never gonna find a mate, a spouse, because this person rejected me, right? When we start making it mean all these things in our head, the situation changes, okay? This is the same across the board in business. When we're doing sales calls, when we're talking to people about what it is that we do, and they say, no, I don't need that right now, I don't want that right now, or I don't want it from you right now, right? That may hurt our feelings. I have gone through that, right? But does that mean you should stop, that you should quit, that you are not good at whatever it is that you are selling or whatever services that you do? Does that mean that you are not good at that thing? Of course not, right? Rejection is a normal thing. We have to understand that, but we cannot make it mean something that it doesn't mean, okay? And how we deal with rejection is a process. I'm gonna say it's a process because it is coming to the realization that our acceptance should not be fully vested in people accepting us, because the yearning to want to be accepted was put into us. I believe that we want to feel like we belong, but that doesn't mean that we get it from people, right? We get it from God, right? We have to understand that He has already accepted us. Once we get that, finding a place where we belong with people is like icing on the cake, right? Like I said, this is a natural instinct, but we will not get over it. We will not make it mean something else if we have that relationship with God. If we know that once we have that relationship with God, once we, I shouldn't say that once we have a relationship with God, I mean once we actually realize that God is there and he has always accepted us, once we have that realization, then things change, right? Because we're no longer looking for it, that acceptance, if you know what I mean. If we happen upon it, it's amazing, right? It is a good thing to hang out with your friends and do stuff with them and feel like you belong. It's a good thing to have your community groups and wherever it is that you hang out, and your Sam's Club card and all the cards that you have. I have a Starbucks membership. I belong, right? And we take it lightly, but things like that actually make an impact on us. But if we make it mean something else, it means something else. It is okay to be a part of those things. It is okay to want to feel like you belong. But it is important that we know that we actually already are accepted. And usually when rejection is having an impact on our lives, like I said, rejection will always happen. But if it is negatively impacting us severely, right? Where we have taken a hit to our self-confidence, our self-worth. We are not feeling good about ourselves, right? If that is happening, we need to figure out, all right, but does my self-confidence and my self-worth come from these people? Like, do I need to be accepted by these people in order for that to happen? In order for my confidence, right? Or do I make that mean something about who I am, right? Honestly, the answer is in the realization. The answer is in the realization that you're already accepted, right? That you're already loved, that you already are amazing the way you are, right? And that people are going to reject you. We cannot get around that. I just want you to realize we cannot get around that, but it is if we are making that mean something to us, okay? Once we have that full realization that we are amazing the way we are, and if we have that realization that God created us the way we are for a purpose, right? And how much we are loved and how much we are accepted and how much we are chosen to do something specific, things change. Our self-confidence is attached to that, right? Because we are already queens and kings. Like, we are already chosen, right? That's what it should be attached to, right? Not people, because people change. Not people, because not everyone is going to like you, right? Not people, because we all are people and we all are flawed, right? But once we put everything into the person that created us, into the being that created us, right? And once we have that realization, that comes from reading the Bible, that comes from having that relationship. And once we have that realization that this person, this being, this Almighty has already accepted us, things look very different. And I keep saying that because sometimes we are already in the Christian faith, or sometimes we already know who God is, but we haven't actually come to that realization of acceptance of ourselves, right? And putting our self-confidence, putting our worth, I should say, on God, and knowing that He is the one who has placed that worth on us, right? That's why I keep saying that. So how we deal with rejection, in my opinion, how we deal with rejection is going to God and reading the Bible and praying and figuring out not figuring out, coming to the acceptance that we are accepted, right? It can be difficult if we have gone through lots of rejections and it is affecting us very deeply, right? But that's something that we can do. Another thing that we can do is affirmations. Affirmations are extremely powerful and I still use them, right? Affirmations are telling you things that God has already said, but that you have not accepted yet, right? So telling yourself every single day that I am loved, I am fearfully and wonderfully made, I am chosen, I am a queen, or I am a king, right? Those things that you tell yourself every day until you believe it, those are affirmations, right? And that is directly related to your self-confidence and your self-worth. When you start to, again, those words actually start to seep in your mind and you actually start to realize, oh crap, this is actually true. That is when things start to change. When you actually start, because when you tell yourself something every single day, right, you eventually believe it full-heartedly, which you should, that I am loved, I am chosen, I am everything, like what it is you need to tell yourself so you can get it through your head that I am accepted, I belong to Christ, right? That is who I belong to, right? And you start to give meaning to that. That's when things change, and that's when rejection doesn't hurt you as much, right? It's still going to sting you, probably because we're people, right? But it's not going to have such an effect on your life. It's not going to put a dent on your self-confidence and your self-worth because it is not related, right? So once we do that, if you need to do affirmations, if you need to pray and talk to God every day, so that can be something that you overcome, do it, because rejection can hurt, but it also, we can overcome it, right? All right, let me know in the comments if you've ever been rejected or about a time you've ever been rejected, how it made you feel and how you overcome it, right? All right, I will talk to you later.